Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol and welcome to Bicester Heritage Centre. Now I'm here today with BMW UK and they've just chucked me the keys to the brand new 4 Series. Now then, before I give you my impressions of this car, there's quite a lot of information I need to depart to you. So what are all the key things you need to know about the new 4 Series?
The new 4 Series is 12 centimetres longer, 23 millimetres wider, with a centre of gravity 21 millimetres lower than the outgoing model. A stiffer chassis and more aggressive geometry makes steering more direct and handling sharper. The range starts with 2 4-cylinder petrol models, the 420i and the 430i. There's a 4-cylinder diesel with a mild hybrid and the option of X-Drive, with a 6-cylinder diesel coming in 2021. Then there's this, the M440i, with a 3-litre 6-cylinder turbo petrol. 4 Series starts from £38,750. This M440i costs from £53,200, and the car on test is in Tanzanite blue and has the Technology Plus Pack, Shadowline Plus Pack and Comfort Plus Pack. In all, £7,500 of options means an on-the-road price of £61,500.
Now, there's no doubt that the 4 Series and the 3 Series are super important for BMW. There's also no doubt that there's been quite a lot said about the new model since it launched. And first off, when you actually see one of these in the metal, they are very, very handsome cars. But the obvious thing that we've got to start this review and talk about is probably what's happening at the front of the car. Now, if you're into your cars and you haven't seen some commentary in recent months about the front grille of the new 3 and 4 Series, and actually if you've not seen commentary about the general evolution of the BMW grille over the last couple of years, where have you been? The first thing to say is, I actually have no problem with this grille at all. I know it got a lot of criticism when it first came out, but no publicity is bad publicity. So if you're going to generate a car that makes people talk, that generates a debate, generates a conversation, that for me is a good thing. For me, car design needs to be edgy, it needs to be confrontational sometimes. And actually the front end of the 4 Series, I think, does that really, really well. It's definitely a grower. And I know there will be some people that will just can't unsee that and won't like it. And I'm just not in that camp. And I think when you see this on the M3 and the M4, then it's a very, very different proposition. Interestingly, the M3 and the M4 don't have this border around the grille, and it just makes it less prominent. But I actually don't have a problem with that at all. And I do have a problem with it raining though. that is typical, but I don't have very long with the car. So let's take a wander around the back, because the back 3/4 of this car, I've always been a big fan of the 4 Series anyway, but it's a properly handsome car from the back. I've always been a big fan of the 2-door coupe format of this 3/4 Series. Now this is the M440i, if you like, the step below the M4 competition, which we haven't got here to drive today, sadly. But I think that rear view is a handsome, handsome looking car. I love these new design rear tail lights with the smoked glass. I like these little kind of flares here. It does actually look like that's a complete fake, but it looks nice anyway. And I love the exhausts, but weather is not on my side. It's just started to tip it down, so I think we jump in the car and go for a drive, because after all, these cars are all about the driving. Oh, let's jump in here out of the rain. That's the first thing I like. I love the presentation of the seatbelt, and I love the M colours running on the seatbelt. Inside this car is really lovely. Look, it's very, very BMW in here. I was in the new 5 Series just last week, and there's a lot of similarity in here. Clearly all the MMI is the same. The steering wheel's lovely and thick and beautiful. The seats are really lovely, and actually there's quite a bit of space in the back. I mean, the coupe slope of the roof probably clobbers headroom for the larger rear seat passenger, but it's not too bad. But it is a very beautiful place in here. So I've got a short route plugged into the sat-nav to experience this car, and I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy myself. Now then, how do I approach this car? Firstly, I don't know exactly the details of the route and the type of driving I'm going to go on. But the first impression of the car is you get that lovely feeling of solid build and quality materials that you would expect from any BMW, to be fair. I've only driven one 4 Series in the past. It was in the very early days of Petrol, and I had a friend of mine who had the diesel 4 Series that had been chipped by Hartger to run about 400 horsepower, and that thing was an utter weapon. An incredible car. So that's the only kind of 4 Series comparison I've got, really. Now this is the one down from range topping 4 Series, the 440i. It's also the X-Drive variant, so I have a 4-wheel drive system, which the 4 Series I drove in the past had that too. And therefore, on what's turned out to be a pretty wet and grotty day, I should have all of the traction and the stability that I like from 4-wheel drive. Instant impressions of the suspension setup, very smooth, not a huge amount of road noise, and it is super smooth. And I think that's the first thing you want out of this kind of coupe format, is a car that you could sit in and do plenty of miles. And immediate impressions is that's what I've got underneath me. Now I've got the normal BMW drive modes in here, so I've got Adaptive, Eco, Pro, Comfort. I'm not going to use any of those today. I'm going to hit Sport straight away and go into Sport mode. I've instantly got a couple of change downs, a bit more pep, and oh, that's more like it. It's certainly got some go, that's for sure. Oh yeah, yes, this is a quick car. It's certainly got some punch to it, that's for sure. Now, while we're stuck behind this traffic in front, sadly, I'm not able to take this car onto a motor circuit today, and I would argue that the vast majority of people who buy one of these aren't going to do that. Maybe people who buy an M4 competition, when that finally gets revealed, you may be more likely to track one of those. But last week, during Goodwood Speed Week, I was lucky enough to have a hot lap in an M440i, and the driver was a guy called Paul O'Neill, who is a very handy peddler. So let's jump to my in-car footage of what was quite a sensational lap of the Goodwood motor circuit. Right then, shall we do this again? This is Paul O'Neill. So this is a fast demo of the new M440i, and actually I love the way you wait for your tyres to warm up.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
Just guessing.
Now, mate, that is ridiculous. 125 through 4 water is ridiculous. Hey, it's got good anchors.
It's good, isn't it, actually?
Yeah.
That's the one that catches me out. Oh.
Yeah. So you recover that little bit of understeer with just a load of oversteer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wasn't looking like I was getting the apex, so I thought I'll just stamp on the throttle, see how we get on.
So what have we got there? 140, blimey. 140 in a 4 Series, that is nuts. Go on, son. Wow.
It's pretty nimble, isn't it?
It's very impressive.
We don't want to mess them curbs up and put black lines on
No,
the
the Duke would not be impressed. So this is the M440i, this isn't even an M4.
It's crazy, absolutely crazy. When you say it like that, like I can't wait to drive the M4 now.
No.
But the balance of the chassis for me is just beautiful.
Mate.
Unreal. That's a fast corner, isn't it?
Yeah, Matrick is always quick. So he's getting practice in for the weekend for racing. Wow.
That's as fast as I've ever gone through there, I think. You know?
That was nearly 130 through Ford Wards.
Don't remind me.
This is a good car.
I'm well impressed with this, you know. And I'm not just saying it, I honestly am. This is a real wolf in sheep's clothing. Go on, son.
Understeer, oversteer, drift.
I'm still hard on the throttle.
Go on, son.
Tell me when.
Oh dear. So obviously we're not going for tidy lap, we're just going for a good lap.
I'm trying.
That's 140 in a BMW.
It's so good to, you know, just to have a bit of fun,
mate.
but you can be smooth as well. That's impressive.
Oh yes.
Right. We'll give it a rest now for a lap.
Yes, I think it needs it, mate.
I was on about me.
I tell you what, that's a good car.
Honestly, like we were speaking offline about M cars, M5s and stuff, this is, if you want something that's just a bit less raw than an M, this should do it, but it really, really does. I think they're all our black lines.
That's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
So I think it's fair to say that this car can be hustled around a circuit. I must admit, I've driven around Goodwood a lot. I've been passenger in quite a few very, very quick cars, but I don't think I've ever been around Goodwood as sideways as that. It was a truly impressive car, and what I really found impressive was on the limit, when you really push on, the car just seemed to want to give more. And when you've got such a capable driver as Paul behind the wheel, it clearly can. So what are the performance credentials of the engine under the bonnet of this car?
The M440i has a 3-litre 6-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine with 48-volt mild hybrid system, producing 369 bhp and 369 pounds-feet of torque, coupled to an 8-speed auto. 0 to 62 is dispatched in 4.5 seconds and on to 155 miles an hour limited top speed. Combined MPG is quoted as 41.5.
Wow. It's got pace, that is absolutely for sure. It's so smooth. I think that is the thing that strikes you off the bat, is it's a very smooth car. Steering feel, I haven't really spent long enough in it to get a good grasp of that, but certainly it feels very precise. It feels very progressive on turning, and you've got a nice weight to the steering as well, which is what I like. I'm not a big fan of cars with the power assisted steering that's got too much assistance, that makes the car too light in the hand. I like a little bit of weight to the steering, and that's certainly what I've got here. The looks of the dashboard for me, pretty much on the money. I like that very much. I like the larger screen, and the way it's kind of integrated into the dash is quite nice. It is a little bit sticky uppy for me, but it's not as bad as when you've just got one of those iPads stuck on the dash. And I like the way it curves around there. It's got gesture control. I've just moved my hands near gesture control. Watch my recent 5 Series video for me and gesture control. But I do like the way that panel kind of curves around and then goes into the main instrument binnacle, and you know what a fan I am of those. Driving position, excellent. I managed to get really nice and comfy. I feel like I'm sat nice and low in the car, which I like. My only issue at the moment, and I'm sure if I played with a few things, I'm sat so low that I can't see the bottom of the head-up display. BMW head-up displays, by the way, I love the way they go onto the actual windscreen, and they're normally really good in terms of the information that they give you. What I would like I'm in a manual change on the paddles, and I know I go on about this a lot, but I would like an indicator of actually what gear I'm in. At the bottom right hand corner I've got a little thing that says M5, that I'm on the manual paddles and I'm in 5th gear, but really I want something more than that. But it's got go. It certainly has go. What I like about it from the outside, it's quite almost a sleeper of a car. It doesn't shout at you, it doesn't have carbon fibre everywhere and wings stuck all over it. With these wheels and the black tanzanite colour and the black wheels, I just think it looks really lovely and really sleek. You can fly under the radar. You just pull out, mate, don't worry about it. That's all good by me, don't worry, mate. Really? Does he not know I'm making a film for YouTube? Okay, it'd be rude not to do a 0 to 60 test. 3, 2, 1, go. 60. Oh, a little bit of a squirm there. Excellent. So, how would I rate this car, both interior and exterior? If we start off with the interior, because I'm sat in it, I don't have a great deal of things in here that I don't like, to be honest. It's full of lovely materials. It's a very comfy driving position. These seats, not only do they look lovely, but they're very comfortable and very supportive. I love the steering wheel with the big, fat, chunky rim. And when you get some open road like this and you... Oh, that sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah, the interior of this car is a lovely place, a really, really lovely place. Outside wise, well, we start with the back because that's the least controversial bit. I think the back 3/4 view of the new 4 Series is lovely. I really like the kind of smoked out lights, and then you move down the side of the car to the controversial bit. I really like the front of the car because it's different and edgy. I'll be the first to admit, when I first saw the press photos land, I wasn't a fan. I thought, wow, it looks like some kind of beaver or something. But I just think it was the way the photographs were taken. When you actually see one of these in person, they grow on you very, very quickly. And I can't wait to kind of spend some time or get to drive the M4 and the M3. Because when you see the front end of the M3 with a similar kind of kidney grille, I just think it looks super aggressive. I really like the look of it. I can't wait to drive that car. So all in all, it's a very impressive car. I think on the road its manners are very good. It's got lots of pace. This is clearly the M440, but even looking round the kind of 420s that we've got back in the where I picked the car up from, they're a good looking car and I think they'll sell well. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one, guys. I'm now stuck behind a very slow moving Golf, which is incredibly frustrating when you're in such a beautiful car and you want to open the taps a little bit. But I'm going to draw this video to a close. Massive thank you to BMW UK for the invite today. It's great to finally get to drive the car after having been tempted with it as a passenger last week. But I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the new 4 Series. But if you've liked this video, give me a thumbs up.